Hello everyone, good evening. Can we hear me? If you can hear me, just give me one word to describe how your day went. So for me, my day was splendid. So how was your day? Just tell me, give me one word for how your day went. And while you are giving me one word for how your day went, you can also give me one word for your experience so far. Someone says, Hefsiba, your day was stressful. Sorry about that. Nora, your day was busy. Oh, sorry. Busy. Someone said great. Ayo Ruth, great. Eventful, Oreoluwa, that's great. Peace, amazing. I like that. Titi Lokwe says productive. HOG, hectic. Okay, that's great. That's great. So, how has your experience in the past 5 weeks been? Have you learned something good? Have you become a better product designer? Have you been able to criticize designs? Have you been able to try your hands on, something on Figma? How has the experience on Figma looked like? Oh, Bolanle, thank you. Bolanle says we missed you. Oh, thank you so much. HOG says Figma is appearing in my subconscious. I like that. Okay. Fun and educative. Yes. Ebonluwa, that's great. Nora, eye opener, just makes me look at designs difference. Okay. Enlightening. All right. Figma is after your life. Anyway, Figma would always improve. Figma in 2023 is not Figma in 2024. Figma in April 2024 is not Figma of today. Figma, I thought a cohort Figma last time. It's not the same thing today. It's not, if I'm going to teach another set now, it's going to be a different thing I'm going to teach them with Figma. So Figma is ever changing, you understand? So that means that you always have to flow with the tide. You always have to improve yourself. So if you are not improving yourself daily, if maybe you are going to take like 3-4 weeks before you come back on Figma, you may discover that Figma has become, I want to use a word, better than it was before. So you always have to update yourself. That's the word. You always have to update yourself. So try to play around with Figma, although today we are going to have hands-on experience. So before we even start, I want you to turn on your system and be on Figma. Before we get into what we are learning today, I want you to turn on your system and just open Figma, because we're going to be playing around with different things today. And that will bring us to the topic of today, which is getting inspiration and sketching ideas. Getting inspiration and sketching ideas. Now I'm going to take you through a story. I'm going to take you through a story, and that story is what would help us know where we are going to. So let's go ahead. Today we've already started, though. We are starting on a high lane today. Bami, but before that, I'm seeing Bami's chat, so I want to read it. Bami says, I feel like an inventor and a problem solver, most especially because I am a customer service agent. Now I see product designers not only as a designer but also as a user. I love that. That's critical. So even in anywhere, any space you are working, when you begin to look at things from the design perspective, you are going to know how to solve problems. That is, in fact, that is very key. You need to always look into designs. You can be looking at YouTube right now as we are teaching and be seeing, oh, how about them having this? How about them having that? But then let's go through our story today and let's see where that story would lead us to. How do I get inspiration while I'm designing? How do I get my sketching idea? How do I begin to sketch my design? How do I not jump into design? How do I move from the research phase to the sketching phase? So let's go. So I said we are going to have like a story, and this is our story. Sandra is the name of our user today, or is the name of our UI UX designer, not Esther. So Sandra is a UI UX designer who just got a job in a fintech startup, and she was excited to begin her journey on her first day. She requested to meet with the stakeholders to understand the scope she was building for. Now, this is Sandra on her first day, and that's like the first day in any business, in any job that you have gotten. So let's take, for instance, now, let's not see ourselves as intending product designers. Let's put ourselves right now in the space of I am already a product designer. I have graduated from Ladies in Tech Africa. I've gotten my certificate. I'm done. Now I'm interning. And my internship has provided me with a job in a fintech company. Position yourself now. Put yourself in that shoe right now. If you're in that shoe, you can let me know. I'm still looking at the chart, so of course, I would know when you are in that shoe. So you are a UI UX designer now in a fintech company. I'm going to give you the name of our fintech company. The name of our fintech company is Litafa. Litafa. That is Ladies in Tech Africa Finance Application. So that is our app, Litafa. Ladies in Tech Africa Finance Application, Litafa. Now, we have gotten a job. Sandra has gotten a job, or Bami has gotten a job as a product designer. The first thing she wants to do is to meet with the stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders? The stakeholders are the owners, the people that have a stake in that business. So the stakeholders understand the business. The stakeholders understand what they want to achieve. The stakeholders have an eye into their business. You would see the CEO as a stakeholder. You would see big investors as a stakeholder. You would see maybe your chief operating officer as a stakeholder. You would see maybe your product manager as a stakeholder. All the people who have an in-depth understanding of what you want to do, and they are in that business, in that company. Those are your stakeholders. Now you are with the stakeholders, and then you are asking them questions. You are asking them questions that I believe that we've done research. So I'm not going to be going into all of that aspect of research. At this point, you are doing your stakeholder research. All right. Now, after listening to the stakeholders, Sandra started by doing the following. So she drew up her research plan. After drawing up her research plan, she started to send, surveys out for the target participants. At this point, she has written her research plan. She understands to a point. She understands from the business perspective what Litafa wants to do. She understands what the CEO of Litafa has already told her that this is what we are trying to build. We are trying to build a finance app that does this, and this. And she understands it from the CEO's perspective. She understands it from the product manager's perspective. She understands it from the chief finance officer's perspective. But it is not enough to understand it from the perspective of the business. It is also good that you understand it from the perspective of the users. Users being the people that will use the application. From the start, we've said it that if you have created an application that nobody wants to make use of, then your business is going to crumble even from the start. So at this point, Sandra would say, I don't only want to understand what the business wants to solve for, I want to also understand what the users want. So this takes us to the next step. she sends out a interview or a screener questions, a survey to people who would, users, general people outside, on challenges that they are facing in finance applications. And she wants to understand the scope of what the users would want her to solve for. Yes, after she has done the survey, she gets responses. Then from the responses, she requests for interviews. So from the interview, so she's interviewing her target participants. She analyzes all of these things, and then she creates all of what you learned when you were working with research. So I will not talk about all of that because I know your facilitator, Mrs. Fola, did an extensive study on that. So she analyzes what the users have said, and then she moves from there. From that aspect, she goes to understanding the market. Now, it is not enough to just understand the user and the business. It is also important to understand the market. Why? In a way, there is no new design that is just coming into space. You would see that a chair was once designed, but the first chair that was designed solved a problem of sitting. Now, what we can do is we can always upgrade on the types of chairs that we design. So the solution to problems have always been around. The solution to finance has been, it's existing, but you want to upgrade on that solution. You want to make it a simpler solution for everybody. You want to understand the user, you want to understand the business, and then you want to understand the market. So at this stage of Sandra, she has understood the user and she has understood the business. What is next is for her to understand the market. And that is where you would hear of your competitive analysis. So in the competitive analysis now, what Sandra is going to do here is the lacuna Sandra would be solving for seems saturated, which is finance. Now, she thought to understand her market by researching different companies who are also in the fintech space, solving the same problem or similar problem or related problem. So what she's looking for while she is trying to understand the market is to look for companies that are solving the same problem that Litafa would solve for, or looking for companies that are doing or solving similar problems. Lacuna means gap, just like a void, a space. So the gap Sandra is looking for, the gap Sandra is solving for, the problem Sandra is solving for. That's lacuna. So now she's looking for companies that are solving that same problem, or she's looking for companies that are solving similar problems, or she's looking for companies that are solving related problems. Now, if you look at this from the competitive analysis, you are looking at your direct competitors and your indirect competitors. Exactly. Victory, you got that right. You took that out of my mouth. So you are looking at either your direct competitors or your indirect competitors. She would then study those people, understand their SWOT analysis, their strengths, their weaknesses, their opportunities, and their threats. Now, while she's understanding their strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, she's getting an idea. Now, this is the thing. She has understood what the business wants first. Now she understands what the users want. She understands the gap. She understands the pain points of the users. She understands the challenges of the users. Now she's understanding the market. If a designer can understand these three stages for any product, you will be able to solve for it in a better way. You understand what the market is solving for. You can pinpoint the best person in the market, and you can pinpoint the weakness of the best person in the market. Obviously, you will not want to make the same mistake that the best company that has as a weakness. You will not want to make that same mistake. You will not want to have that same weakness. So at this point, what you are doing is you are looking for weaknesses in strong companies, and then you are looking for ways to then make those weaknesses of theirs your own strength. Why? Because by the time users are seeing that the weaknesses of this company, this company, this company is why I will not bank with them, and they are seeing that you don't have that as a weakness, they will move from that company and they will bank with the company that does not have that weakness. I hope I'm making sense with what I'm saying. So some ideas she can use to better design for her company, and things her competitors are doing that she can do better, of course. So that's what she's looking for there. Now we move. Sandra now understands the following. Sandra understands the solution the business is solving for. At this point, Sandra understands the problem of the users, and then she understands the problem in the market and what the market might not have for the user. So she has seen a gap in the market that she can fill. She has seen a problem that the users need. She has seen a solution. She understands what the business now is looking for. She can then go back to the stakeholders to say, oh, from my research, from my user research and my market survey, I discovered that what we want to solve for is very, very close to the solution our business wants to solve for as well. Now she moves further to the next stage. At this point, she is able to merge her findings from the analysis to understand what she is solving for and what the users might be happy to see in the market. She takes her findings back to the stakeholders with an advice to work with the gap in the market if it blends with the needs of the users at the time. Now, that is if it blends with the needs of the users. Hold on, stay with me. Now, if the problem of the user and the problem in the market is not the same thing with the solution the business is trying to solve for. Let me take it again. If the problem in the market and the problem of the user is not the same thing that the solution is trying to solve for, what the product designer can do now, what Sandra can do to Litafa right now, is to call another meeting, a stakeholders meeting again, and then tell them what she has found and ask them if she can blend the problem in the market, the problem of the user, in a way in their own solution for the business, so that at the end of the day, the users will make use of the app. Because if you design something, maybe you think that maybe the business, so let's take Esther as the CEO of Litafa. So Esther is the CEO of Litafa, and Esther feels like I want Litafa to be able to send, I want all users in Litafa to be able to get their payments from whatever company they are working for. I just thought about this in my head now. So for all of us who are interns with Lita, we probably would have an account on Litafa, and then the company would pay all the interns through or via Litafa. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe that's the solution I'm trying to solve for. But while Sandra has gone to the market and Sandra has checked the users who are these ladies in Tech Africa now, she has discovered that that's not the problem. Their problem is not to get an account for the company to pay for. Their problem is probably finance management, such that the moment they have that money, they just take all the money and they squander it. And then maybe the market, there is no budget application that can actually solve for ladies' budgets. This wisdom that is coming to me, flesh and blood did not reveal it. Flesh and blood did not reveal what I'm saying right now. I think I'm going to solve this problem by myself. Now, if that is the problem, yeah, I've given us a very, very unique problem. The first problem the business was thinking of was just to transfer money from the um, interns company to Litafa's to Lita's to Lita's interns. Yeah. But right now we are thinking of budget control, such that the moment the money from the company enters into Litafa, the users who are Lita's interns should be able to manage the money all through 31 or 30 days so that they won't be broke. Because we are building smart women. If you have read the Smart Woman book, you would be reading budgeting, you will be reading how to manage your finance, what to invest in, and all of those things. So, if that is a unique problem that most of the ladies in Tech Africa are saying they want to solve for, and all what we are just saying is we want to just be able to move money. Now, this is Sandra coming back to meet the team and saying that, sir, ma, I have discovered a challenge. The challenge is not that these people don't have accounts to get money into. The challenge is that they need to manage their money. So why not let's create Litafa's application to carry budgets, such that while they get money there, so let's say that maybe you get I'm just going to start from something very basic. Maybe you get a 30,000 naira, or maybe you get a 70,000 naira or an 80,000 naira every month. You should be able to manage that 80,000 naira. You should be able to create a budget, so that you will not get broke at the end of the month. Now, if the company is very smart, that's just an idea that you pushed to them. They would go back and discuss the business part of how that would benefit them, and then they will come back to meet you. Always, this works always. Oh, they will come back to meet you because they know you have studied the users, they know you have studied the market, they know you know what you are saying. So they will come back to meet you, and then they would ask you to go ahead with your plan. At this point, you are no longer a UI UX designer. You are now a product designer. Why? Because you are adding your business sense to designing an application. So that's what makes a product designer really, because that person can build the product as if it is his own. He can put the business sense. How can we generate profit from this thing? How can we be profitable? If my bosses are not thinking of some things that will generate profit, I should be thinking of what to put on the application to generate profit for my company. Now let's go further. Now, further stakeholder inquiries. Sandra then asks for the brand identity document to understand the brand of the company. So maybe the brand of the company, from the brand of the company, you want to understand the color that you would be using, you want to understand the logo, you want to understand their typography, you want to understand their patterns and textures, their icons, their imageries, videos, illustrations, and so on. While you are understanding all of that, you want to understand their mission, you want to understand their vision, you want to understand their core values, you want to understand the tone of their voice, you want to understand the brand story. Why? Because all of this affects your website. Oh. All of this affects your website. It's not just this, you are not just designing for designing's sake. You see, all of these things I've said, the logo, if the logo is too small, if the logo is just a very tiny text that people will not really see when you put it on the website, it would affect how they would see the website. If the colors are not user friendly, it would affect it. If the typography is not great, it would affect it. So you want to see all of this, and you want to make sure that all of the things you are seeing in the brand identity works well for your design. If the company does not have this, as a product designer, as a UI UX designer, you would then ask them questions that surround brand identity, which I know our facilitator Oluwasekemi also taught us that. So you would ask questions around brand identity, and you can develop that, or you can ask them for a graphics designer to develop that. But you can also do that. It's left to you. Now, when you are done with that, there's no way you can generate ideas or inspiration if you have not even understood all of those things that we are saying. It has to be a process. Imagine you just come into Google for the first time. They just employed you to Google, and then you get to Google, and the next thing they say, okay, design an application for Google, without you understanding all of these things that have been saying, what the the stakeholders in Google, what they want, or what the users of Google, what they want, or what the market surrounding Google, what it carries. If you don't understand that, you will design a dead on arrival product. So you need to understand all of this before you then even start, getting your inspiration. All of this is what would help you get your inspiration for the product itself. When we say brand story, every brand has a story. Every brand has a story that they sell. When you think of Google Chrome, or every product has a story. When you think of Google Chrome, the story that comes with Google Chrome is you searching for anything in the fastest possible way. The story that comes with Kuda, what's the story that comes with Kuda? The brand story that comes with Kuda is, we are the African bank, African something for money, something money for Africans, where you don't, a bank without walls. That's the story that comes with Kuda, a bank without walls. So it's every brand or every product has a story that they tell even before that product becomes live. So you also want to understand the brand story. What do they want to sell? Because it is when you understand what they want to sell, that you are able to create that thing, so that when people are looking at it, even the business, the stakeholders, when they see it, they'll be able to see that story that they want to sell right on the website. I was about to say praise the Lord. All right, so that's that. Now, Sandra has gotten the full gist. Sandra has gotten the full understanding of what the business wants. She also knows the biggest competitors that they are against, and then she now starts her journey. Against the biggest competitor, you want to study their websites. You want to note the following in their websites: their color usage. That now you are looking at your competitors. You are looking at your competitors, and while you are looking at your competitors, you are studying the way they made use of color, the way they made use of the layout of their application. Let's divert a bit, right? Let's say you want to build an education application. Now, you want to build an EdTech app. So we were talking about fintech. Let's divert a bit to EdTech. You want to build an EdTech application or even an EdTech website. The question when you get to competitive analysis would be, who are the biggest competitors in EdTech? You are thinking Coursera. You are thinking Udemy. You are thinking Allison. You are thinking those big guns in EdTech. You are thinking of those ones. Now, while you are checking Coursera's website, you begin to look at the way they made use of color. You begin to look at the way they made use of imagery, their typography, the way they spaced their work, all of the principles of design. You begin to look at that. You are looking at the layout. You are looking at the flow in their design. How did they start? Where did it end? What story were they telling? How are they grabbing the attention of people? What are they doing that is making people come on their website? You are looking at that. What even attracted you? What is attracting you now as a user to that particular website? You are thinking of that. Now you are looking at the flow of the website. Yes, their emphasis. You are thinking of the flow of the website. So from the home page, where's the next place they are going to? How do we get to pick a course? What do we do when we pick a course? Where do we go to after we pick a course? Are we buying it? Are we paying? If we're not paying, what are we doing? You are looking at the flow. You are looking at their functionality. How is it working? Is it very fast? Is it very slow? Is it lagging? You are looking at their 400 milliseconds. Is it less than 400 milliseconds? Is it more than 400 milliseconds? You are checking all of those things. You are looking at the application. Is it enjoyable? Do they have interactions that would wow you? Do they keep you on their website? Or the moment you come on their website, you are just pissed and then you just leave their website? What are they doing to keep users on their website? You are studying that. Funny, you are writing all of these things down. No? You are studying and you are writing all of these things down. If you are not writing it, you are doing, sometimes I'm tired of writing, so I just do a record. Oh, look at so and so website. I looked at one website one time. Oh God, I loved the animation. In most of my classes, I use that animation to make people know that design is a serious work, because I was wowed by that and by that application. So you find what is interesting in that application, and this is where your journey starts in getting inspiration. For whatever parts in any application you see that you think you can replicate in your application, what do? Screenshots. For whatever part that you think you admire, you like, it's fascinating, you think that, oh, if we have such a section on our application, it would really bring it to life. Screenshots. If you see something that you think, oh wow, how did they achieve this? I think if I achieve this on my application, it would really go a long way. Screenshots. While you are screenshotting, you then create something called a mood board on Figma. You can call it your brainstorming page, you can call it your mood board, whatsoever you want to call that place. All what you have been screenshotting, you are then pasting it on Figma, so that as you are looking at it, your own creativity would be coming to life. Now, it's not that you are replicating anybody's website. It's not even good that you replicate somebody's website, but it's good that when you see something good and you think that it would also be nice on your website, take a bit of that inspiration and then take it to your mood board. That's how you get inspired. Now, let's take for instance, you've gotten a whole lot of inspiration. You've gotten so many things. You've gotten so many pages for so many screens for so many things. Then we want to move. You want to make sure that you segment your mood board. On Figma, you segment what you screenshotted. Yeah, you have a section for your website. Even under the website, you have a place for the home pages, things you have screenshotted for home pages, things you have screenshotted for the about us, things you have screenshotted for splash screen, things you have screenshotted for footer section, whatever section you screenshot, you just give them a name and you begin to, segment them accordingly, no, you are not using it, right? You are just getting them as inspiration. You are not using it, you're only getting it as inspiration. So I don't think that I don't think it would be flagged as copyright. But if you then post it as your work, then I think that that's a copyright offense. But since you are not using it, you're just taking it as, I'm keeping this somewhere so that when I'm ready to design this particular page, I can look at this and do something similar to this particular thing. So I'm not sure, because I've not gotten flagged for copyright because I'm taking screenshots before. So let's move. Now, the funny thing is, you can also go outside your competitors. You can go outside your competitors. You can look at a particular website. I used to be very formal in my UX writing before, until I saw one particular website that was so simple. And from that day, my thought and idea, that wasn't a website I was even supposed to go to, but I just branched on that website, and then I saw it and I was like, no, their words are simple, everything is simple. Now you can use that to, get your inspiration and say, oh, I like the way these people used their language. I like the way these people used their grammar. I think I want to follow this particular model. You understand? So you can just save that link so that you can always go there. And when you see what they have there, you can say, yes, yes, yes. Okay, I can do something that relates to this particular thing. So that's the way you get inspiration. Now, you can screenshot from different places, or you can, just check out. You can even download applications that are similar to what you want to solve for. Check it out and see how it functions, and then you can use that to get inspired on how your flow would look like, or how your design would look like. Now, you can use different websites to also gather inspirations on different screens. What most designers would do is to go to Mobbing. They can pay for their pro version, and then they can check for different screenshots that Mobbing has also done. Yeah, so they will check for it, they will look through it, check the flow, check the design, check everything, put some of those screens on Figma so that it can always be there for them to check, to be inspired. And then when they are done, they can then create something that looks like, similar, or works like that particular application. Another one is Screen Lane. Another one is Behance. Another one is Uplabs. Another one is 8 words awards. Another one is One Page Love, Pinterest, Page Flows. Google is your friend, yeah? So you can, yes, I said Pinterest too, exactly. So you can look at UI Land. There are lots of websites you can get inspiration from. So you can just go to those websites and then check for a particular application that maybe you are looking for a fintech application. You can look for inspirations there. Or maybe, please don't use Dribble. Please, I'm still coming to the Dribble story. Please don't use Dribble. So I don't know, I'm on air, yeah? So I won't even talk about why I said don't use Dribble, but please minimize your use of Dribble. Okay, that's from me. That's my personal take, and I'm not going to say why, so that nobody will come for me, so I will not trend. But please minimize your usage of Dribble. So you can get inspiration from UI Land, Google, Page Flows, Pinterest. And the reason why we kept these links here is because the applications on this on all of these websites are live applications that are already in use, which means that the functionality has been tested, not just a graphics designer designing different screens and then posting it there. You understand? So these ones are already active live products that even you can download, and then you can interact with it, which means that the functionality has been tested. Now, because the functionality has been tested, you know that this application, if you are going to design or work with their kind of flow, you will not get into trouble. Please don't use free pick. Please don't use free pick. Please don't use Dribble. I know why. And don't ask me why. All right, so let's keep it up. Let's go. I like the way people are bringing the ones I don't want you to use. That's why I didn't mention it. All right, so when you have your mood board, you can start sketching how you want your own website or mobile application to look like. At the point of getting your inspiration, you would have seen 10 different ways to create some certain sections you want to have on your website. And this would eliminate copying your competitors' designs. Instead, yours would be more creative, probably simpler, and even more functional, because you know the weaknesses of your competitors and you know the means to make their weakness your company's strength. I think I already explained this before, where I said that you already know the weakness of your competitor. So at this point, what you are creating for, you are making their weakness your own strength. Now you can look at different ways let's take for instance the splash screen. That's the first screen of encounter on any mobile device, on any mobile application device, yeah? what am I saying? On any mobile application. Yeah, that's the word. So now, the first screen of encounter on any mobile application is your splash screen. That one that will show the logo. That screen that will just show the logo like this, that's the splash screen. So now, on that first screen, on that splash screen, you probably will check like 5 or 6 applications, and you will see how they designed their own splash screen. Some of them, they'll just put it in the middle. Some of them, they'll put it at the top, and then they'll put words in the middle. Some of them, they'll just do it somehow. You see different 3, 4, 5 different ways that people would create their own splash screen, and then you would have your own idea to say, okay, I think I want my splash screen to look like this. If you are able to do that, you would discover that, oh, yours would look more creative. Yours will not look like you copied from so and so application, but it would have its own dynamism. It would have its own creativity. I hope we are following. I hope we understand that. If you understand what I've been saying so far, please just let me know. Just let me know that, okay, I'm following, or I have a question, or something is not right, or I'm confused, or something. So let me know. Please let me know. Please let me know. Yes, Sarah, you are very, very right. You need your application to have its own uniqueness. I like that. To have its own, its own personalized statements, the story, and all of these things you are saying, yes, it has to follow, it has to flow with your brand story, your color, it has to flow with everything. Yes. So you have to. Thank you very much. I see we are writing that. Thank you so much. Now, what you want to do at the stage of sketching is you want to draw the most important screens or pages. What you want to do at the sketching phase is not compulsory you draw all the screens that you will be designing at the sketching phase. Why did I say that? When you are sketching, what you are doing is you are trying to be fast about your work. So you don't have to design everything that you don't have to sketch out. I'm sorry, not design. You don't have to sketch out every screen. You don't have to. You would be sketching out the most important screens. Screens like your login, your sign up screen. You can leave the forgot password screen. Screens like your sign up screen, your home screen, how the home screen will look like. That's if you are dealing with screens. So I use screens when I'm working with mobile. I use pages when I'm working with websites. So for mobile screen, you are looking at your payment screen. If you have to pay for something, you are looking at your settings screen, you are looking at your profile screen, and then you see I wrote product or service flow screen. So for your product screen, so let's take for instance, you want to work on maybe an e-commerce application. You would be creating a product screen instead. So your product screen would cover from the catalog, categorization or catalog, to the product, to when you purchase the product, when you add to cart, and then when you are checking out, all of that. You understand? That's the product screen or the product flow screen. If it is a service flow screen, so maybe you need to take a particular service, like for example, you are working on an ed tech application, mobile tech application, for example, Lita Academy, or yes, Lita, thank you very much, Lita Academy, Lita Bootcamp. So maybe Lita Bootcamp would have an application, yeah. So for Lita Bootcamp's application now, so we can call that Litaba. So for Litaba now, the bootcamp application, we can say that it would be a service flow screen. So the service flow screen would now come from when you purchase, or when you pick or select the course you want to study, to where you move to the course, to how you study the course, where you move to the live classes, where you do your assignments, where you're able to submit your assignments, where you get your results, and then after that, to where you end the course, and then you get your certificate. So that one is the service flow screen. So let me take it again. There is a difference between product flow screen and service flow screen, depending on what you are solving for, depending on the technology you are solving for, depending on the space you are solving for. If you are solving for a medical technology company, maybe you are building a website or you are building a product for a medical company, it may be different, it may be a different flow entirely. I don't know if you understand that. So your product screen are different, your service screens are different. That's what I mean. Your product and service screen would always be different depending on what you are trying to design. So you have your login screen, your sign up screen, your home screen, your product or service flow screen, your payment screen, your settings screen, and then your profile screen for mobile. And then if you are designing for web pages, you are looking at your home page, you are looking at your service or product page. Same thing with what I've explained before. Your about us page, your frequently asked questions page, your contact us page, your sign up page, login page, your 404 page. Your 404 page is an empty page not found. I'm sure you have seen that design on some websites where you want to check for a particular thing and then you have the 404. So they tell you that this page is not found, this page is not there. So a designer should design that 404 screen or that 404 page so that if the developers are not done with that page and the product is already live, they can always put the 404 there, and then the users will not be confused as to why that page is empty. You understand? Yeah, so that's the 404 page. And then your blog page for content management and the likes. So I'm seeing a question. Joy, explain your confusion. Joy, what's confusing you? I think I've answered every other question. Yeah, so let me move. Now, when you are done with your inspiration, when you are done taking, okay, so let me go back to the product and service flow page or screen. As I said earlier, I said that the service or the products are different depending on what you are solving for. Now, we are solving for a finance application, which means that we are looking at how money would move from one place to another. What we are going to be designing is not a product screen. What we are going to be designing is a service screen. Now, and this service screen that you are designing is just talking about what the product is going to do. So, the product you are designing is a finance application. What's the service of that finance application? You are moving money, maybe you are getting money. So, you are adding money to your account, money is coming to your account. You are going to design how the home page would look like. If you want to send money from one person to another person, you should be able to design that flow of sending money from one person to another person. That's service. Then you should be able to design the screen of finding, let me see, you should be able to design the screen of when you want to add your virtual card or your physical card. You should be able to design the page, everything that relates to what you want to do on the bank application. That is for service flow screen, especially when you are dealing with fintech. Now, let's say that you are dealing with edtech. Edtech would mean education. What you are also working with there is depending on the part of education that you are focusing on. It may either be a product flow screen or a service flow screen. So if the solution you are trying to solve for is in edtech and you are like Ladies in Tech Africa Bootcamp, where so many people are learning courses at the same time. That one would be focused on a service flow screen. How will the user get on the app? From the home screen, how will the user get into his or her classes? How will the user communicate with his or her facilitator? How would that service? How will the user connect with the facilitator? How will the user submit assignments? How will the user see his or her results? How will the user get his or her certificate? How will the user ask questions? How will the user join live classes? How will the user um, mark his work? All of those questions that would surround the problem of the user, you then solve for it in the design. Now, let's move from EdTech. Let's go to I'm seeing something on Jumia. That's e-commerce. Now, if you are solving for an e-commerce application, if you are solving for an e-commerce application, it's going to be a product page. Why? Because you are selling a product, and then people are going to be buying that product, and then people are going to be paying money for that product. When people pay for the product, they then what's the word now? They check out, and after they check out, they get their product delivered to them. So you are going to cover those flow. That's why you saw that I wrote product flow or service flow screen. So it has to be a flow because the services differ. They differ from one technical mode to the other. If it's medicine, let's say let's say this is a redeem organization program. So let's say that maybe the redeem hospital. So let's say redemption hospital. Now you want to design an application for redemption hospital. You would have to know the services that redemption hospital is doing so that you can design the service for redemption hospital. I don't know if I've been able to explain that to us. So the services differ, the products differ depending on the services you are delivering. Do we understand that? I need us to comment if we understand or if we're still confused. I'm not an OPay person, so I'm not even sure I know so much about what's in OPay. I just move money and go. All right, but I don't know. I don't know if SafeBox is in OPay. So yes, so when you are done with that flow, you then move to something called your low fidelity wireframe. So you have sketched it. What you are sketching, you are using your paper, your pen, you are using it to sketch. So you are on paper and pen or pencil. You can use your ruler. In fact, if you like protractor, you can use protractor. If you like compass, you can use compass so that your sketch would come out well. Or you can just be like me, that will just draw it anyhow. Just draw my four corners and then start to do different things. For example, look at what we have in this picture. This is just a very simple sketch. So the person just drew some boxes. He did some X inside the box to depict image. I'm sure he shaded this part and then he wrote something that would look like a label. The line tells you that there's a divider here. This box here tells you that this is a video, because right in the middle you have like the circle and then a play. So all of that, you just have all of that there, and then things, you just draw, keep drawing. Now, from the inspiration you have gotten, from the different websites that you have checked, from the different applications that you have looked at, you should be able to come up with something, with a dynamic solution. You should be able to draw up a dynamic solution. You understand? You should be able to draw up a dynamic solution for the different screens that you are going to be sketching. And then after you have sketched those, you then go to Figma, where you now create a low fidelity wireframe. Now, with low fidelity wireframe, you are creating a digital skeletal design, digital two-dimensional design that would help you visualize the look and functionality of your website or your application. And this can be created on Figma very, very seamless. Why? Because all what you are using on Figma for your low fidelity would be rectangles, lines, squares, triangles. You're not really doing so. Look at this image we have here. All what you are seeing here would have been lines, rectangles, circles, plus, and very, very simple. So you're just putting what you have designed so far, you are just putting that on digital. That's what you are doing. You are just digitizing what you did manually. So from what you did manually, you just digitize it, yeah, and then that's that. So these are examples of low fidelity designs. These are simple examples of, now this is the caricature pencil design, yeah. This is the sketch that somebody has done. And then digitally, this was what the person created. So you see that it's very possible to move from your, I used to call it, when I teach in my class, I call it paper fidelity. So I tell them, or I teach them, that there is paper fidelity design, there is low fidelity design. I also teach mid fidelity before I teach high fidelity. But for this class, we are not going to be talking paper fidelity. We are just going to be calling it sketch. And then when we get to this low fidelity, we are going to call it low fidelity. We are not dealing with mid fidelity. We are just going to high fidelity. So this is paper, this is your sketch, and then you now have your low fidelity. Now, what are the importance of low fidelity wireframe or even the sketch? What it does is that it gives clarity to your design process. It helps you get feedback quickly from the stakeholders. So you can quickly design your sketch, you can quickly design your low fidelity. We sometimes shorten it to be lo-fi. So the moment I say lo-fi, it's the same thing as low fidelity. So you can quickly design your lo-fi, you can quickly show that to your stakeholders, and then what your stakeholders will do now is to check your lo-fi out, see if it is good or if it works well with them, and then they can either approve or request for a change. So it gives clarity to your design process. It helps you document your design process. It helps you get feedback quickly from your stakeholders. I used to use this story to explain why you should create your low fidelity first. So I happen to be in this company where it's a very funny incident. We had designed an application, and from low fidelity we had immediately gone to high fidelity. In fact, I'm not even sure we did a really strong low fidelity. We just did the low fidelity because I wasn't the only designer there. So we just did the low fidelity so that it would guide us for the high fidelity. Not that it was, not that we wanted to get stakeholders review or something. But then we had done the high fidelity. So we had spent more time. We spent time creating the lo-fi. We spent more time on the high fidelity. Then we went for presentation. Very happy that we had done something good. And everything from scratch was scrapped. I'm not capping, I'm not kidding. Everything that we did from our log sign up, in fact, from the landing page, everything was scrapped, everything was cancelled. So high fidelity is like the major design, the way the design would look like, with the colors, with the images, all of your elements complete. In fact, it would look like what you can deal with. It would be the exact replica of what the developers will do. That's your high fidelity. So I used to explain low fidelity as your skeleton, while high fidelity is now the beautiful design that God has created you with, your eyes, your nose, your mouth, everything. But then lo-fi will just be skeleton. Yes, lo-fi will just be skeleton. So that's the explanation I can give for that. Now back to my story. It was scrapped. The product manager just said, this is total rubbish, this was not what we requested for, go back to the product requirement document and do it again. And that was the end of our meeting. So we went back, and then all of us on the team wanted to start doing from low fidelity to high fidelity again. But somebody just advised us and said, wait, let's do low fidelity first. Let's annotate the low fidelity and let's send it back to these people. Let's see what they will say. If the low fidelity is good to go, then we can now design the high fidelity, because time was no longer on our side. High fidelity wireframe is just, please, I would answer your question, Bami. So after we had decided that yes, let's create a low fidelity wireframe, let's annotate the low fidelity wireframe, let's send it to them, then we would now move on. Yes. So within 4 5 days we were through with the low fidelity, and then we requested for a meeting again. Now at the meeting we now had like, okay, what did you guys want? This was what we were able to create. What did you guys want? And then now there were fewer corrections that they made, very, very few, quicker corrections, because the colors were not in their faces. So many things were not happening at the time. They were not seeing content. They were only seeing functionality. So because they were seeing functionality now, their eye could open to what we wanted. Yes, we did the low fidelity again. So after designing the low fidelity again, we went for that meeting, and after doing the meeting, they made few changes now. From the few changes they made, we went back, corrected those changes on low fidelity, and then we went for a meeting again. That one was even within a day. By Friday, we were doing a meeting again. And after that meeting, they just approved us for high fidelity. It was amazing. So one of the reasons, or few of the reasons why low fidelity is good, is that it speeds time. You are able to prioritize functionality over aesthetic appeal. You are able to detect functionality issues as soon as possible. You are able to reduce design bias. Now, one of the things that happened during that meeting was design bias. I will not go to the details of that meeting, but design bias, happened in that meeting. People looked at the design, maybe the colors were too much, maybe some of them felt the images were too big. So at the point, they just wanted, no, we don't like this, we don't like this. But then you reduce design bias, you reduce decision-making time, and then you save your design time. Those are the importance of low fidelity wireframe. Yeah. Now, how do you create low fidelity wireframe? How do you create low fidelity? Oh, I'm so sorry. So I just saw the reminder that it's time for break. I'm sorry about that. I got into teaching. I got into my teaching mode. So we would have like a short break, and after the break, we would come back. I would answer the questions, and then we would go to practical. So let the break start now. Can we hear me? You're welcome back. You're welcome back. You're welcome back. Okay, so I'm going to pick some of the questions I'm seeing here, and I'm going to see how best I can attempt them. So, this question says, is it compulsory for a website page to have a blog page? No, it's not compulsory for a website page to have a blog page. There are some website pages that don't have blogs, so it's not compulsory. If the solution you are solving for does not require blog, remove blog. Okay. Then, okay, I think I've answered what a high fidelity wireframe and a low fidelity wireframe is. Now I'm seeing a question saying that is high fidelity like a prototype? So there is high fidelity wireframe, there is low fidelity wireframe, there is high fidelity prototype, there is low fidelity prototype. Now, when you say a high fidelity wireframe, you are talking about singular screens or pages without their functionality. You are just talking about the design of singular screens or singular pages without the functionality. You are not really dealing with how it moves from one place to the other. But the moment you bring in prototype, you are turning it to a model. You are turning it to a sample. You are turning it to something that people can say, when I click on this, I move to this place. When I click on this, I can check this place. So when you are doing that, you are already turning that or those sets of wireframes to either a high fidelity or a low fidelity prototype. So the moment functionality is added to the wireframes, it becomes a wireframe, a prototype. But if it is just a screen or a page without without prototype, so in Figma we would call that prototype. So without prototype, it is just wireframe. But the moment you add prototype, it becomes a prototype. I hope we understand that. Now somebody says, can a product designer create an application? A product designer designs application, although as of now, there are no code platforms that can help a product designer create an application. But the most popular thing is that a product designer designs applications, designs websites, designs products, and then developers or engineers in whatsoever platforms they are coming from. Developers or engineers would then take it up from there. So we have front-end developers, we have back-end developers that would then take it up from there and then would design or develop the that would develop the or create the application. Okay. Let me check for other questions. Now, depending on the medical mobile application, a medical mobile application may just be selling medical equipment. And if they are selling medical equipment, that's still a product flow that you would design. You understand? But if they are dealing with services, like maybe consultation, like maybe they are doing ENT, they are doing eyes, they are doing their laboratory, you can book a service and all of those things, then you are looking at service flow or a product flow. So that's that. I think I've been able to cover the questions I can see. Sorry, let me just go through. If I'm not seeing any other question, I would, yes, I think that's that. Now let's quickly move further because we are doing a bit of a practical today. So now, how do you create your low fidelity? You use shapes to represent your elements, shapes like your rectangles, your squares for images, your lines, and your small heighted rectangles for text or navigation. Then you can follow the pattern you have created during your sketch, and you can add a placeholder for remembrance. You can add like text, titles for remembrance. You can also use generic labels or dummy text, like your lorem ipsum. Lorem ipsum is a dummy text, or you can use generic labels, like for every button, you can write button. So the moment you see a button there, the moment a button is supposed to be somewhere, you just put button there. Those are generic labels. You can put labels, you can put tabs. All of those are generic labels that you can use for your low fidelity, especially when you want to explain what a particular thing does, because you don't want to put the exact text. Maybe the content, right, the copywriter or the UX writer has not, gotten a text for that place. So you just put dummy text or generic labels there. Now you can use arrows or lines to indicate how the flow would move from one page to the other or from one screen to the other. And then you can add annotations, notes, or explanations to provide additional context for where the button should write get started. You can put something like button there instead. You understand? So that's that. Now, do not use colors in your low fidelity design. Do not use colors in your low fidelity designs. Do not use colors in your low fidelity designs. I feel like putting that in capital letter. Stick with your gray colors. This reduces ambiguity, and this gives the users the ability to focus on the most important things. Now, your sketch is when we say sketch, you are talking about maybe something you did on paper or on a whiteboard. So that's the sketch. So you can call that your manual low fidelity, because you sketched it by hand or something. But when you are looking at digitized, when you digitize it, when you use something like Figma, or you use Whimsical, or you use your wireframes.cc to generate your low fidelity, you can call those digitized ones low fidelity. All right, so I'm hoping that I am through. Now you can call what is on the extreme right, you can call that your sketch, because it looks like someone sketched this on paper, screenshot it, and then brought it to this point here. Now you can use annotations. These boxes with in a different color are just showing you that you can put annotations here. Annotations are explanations, write-ups, like what does this part signify? What does this part signify? What does this part signify? And so on and so forth. So that's what all of those extra colors are talking about. Then these are also examples. This is your paper sketch. Then what is in the middle is the low fidelity, and what is on the third screen, the one that has blue, you can call that a mid fidelity. You can call that a mid fidelity because the image is not there yet. But the moment the image gets in, you can call that a high fidelity design. And then this pizza palace, this is also a low fidelity as well. Now, from this low fidelity, you can see that some things are very unique. Where the image will be is in X and is in something like a rectangle. Where the buttons or the menus or the tabs are in a rectangle, and then the text is written there. So you can just see all of those little for the navigation. You can see something written, and then somewhere where there's a line under, you can see a place for search up here. You can just see those little differences here, and then people will be able to understand that yes, this is a low fidelity. Now there are simple low fidelity designs, and then there are complex low fidelity designs, depending on what you are designing for. You can decide, maybe they've given you like a very complex work. You can use you can design something complex as well. So this is a complex design. You can call it a complex design because a lot of things are going on here. And then this is also, this is these two screens in the butter colored frame is just one screen. It's just one page rather. These two pages that looks like, there are two pages. It's just one page. This is something like a landing page. So just one page, very complex, a lot of work going into it, but it's still a low fidelity design. So your low fidelity design can either be simple or it can be complex. Now this is your sketch. So with your sketch, you are using paper and biro. You see it, you are using paper and pen. You are using paper, biro, you are using book, you are using pencil. You are drawing it out on paper, and then on the moment you are using low fidelity, it's digitized. Do we have any questions before we get into the next? Because I'm going to Figma right now. That's why I said we should get our Figma ready. I'm going to Figma. Technical, can you please help me project the next screen? All right, thank you so much. So now, if you are looking at this screen, so I won't be able to see what we are doing, but yes, fine. If you are looking at this screen, you will discover I am on Figma and I can do as I like. I'm hoping I can do as I like. Yes, I can. You will discover the following. Let me get my pen, my pencil. You will discover this place. Oh, it's going to be black. Let me change it to, let's see. Let me use this rectangle. You discover this place. This place I'm covering. I'm going to remove the fill, and then I'm going to give it a stroke of white. All right, great. So you will discover this place. Just notice how this is designed. When you are looking at this, this is low fidelity. This is part of what you do when you are doing your low fidelity design. This is part of what you do. So what I've done is I just screenshotted. The network was lagging, and I just saw this and I was like, oh, this is good for low fidelity. And then I just screenshotted this, and you can do the same thing for your low fidelity. See how beautiful it came up. Removing the colors, you're not going to be adding all of these colors. You're just putting the box and then the smaller box there. Now look at the same thing. Look at this first place here, this first one, this. Yes, this particular one. Look at it closely. Now, when you are seeing this closely, the same thing you have seen here was what became this. This is our Canva. This is Canva. So you see that same, look at it. This is your low fidelity. You have a small box depicting the home and then a write-up. You have a small box depicting something and a write-up. And then for the high fidelity, you can see that this is the home, this is the project, these are templates, these are your brands, and then your applications. So that's how you change from low fidelity to high fidelity. Now you can also decide to turn all of this to low fidelity. Look at this, where you are putting other designs, here. You can just work on it and then change it to a high fidelity. This is another screen. This is your Canva home screen, and then you can see this is your low fidelity here, this place. Let me create a rectangle for that as well. Rectangle to cover this, and then I'm minusing this, clicking on this, changing this to white so that you can see it well, increasing the stroke to 4. So look at this. Now this is another wireframe here. Something you can even draw. This is something you can even draw when you are done drawing, maybe on your pen, on your paper. You can now come to the board and then to Figma and then design this. Now this is LinkedIn, and then you can see LinkedIn's wireframe. So network was lagging as well, and I just enjoy doing this sometimes. So LinkedIn was misbehaving, network was poor, and I just said, "Ooh, let me screenshot this." So this is another one. Look at the wireframe and look at how beautiful it is. Just so beautiful, so clean, just very, very nice. And then this is Figma itself. So this is Figma's home page, and then you can see how this is Figma's dashboard, and you can see how beautiful the wireframe just came up. So beautiful. I mean, extremely beautiful. Also, look at how the wireframe for the artboard, for the canvas, for the platform we are designing on, the place where you have your design, your labels on the left, and then other properties on the right. Look at how beautiful it just came up. So this is how a lot of companies create their wireframe from designs, and then they can turn it to the live product. Now for Litafa, let's have Litafa. We've been working and talking about Litafa, so let's do something on Litafa. Before I do that, I would want to check on you guys to see if you have any question or if you have anything bothering you. I think I've answered the question on wireframe, so you can always go back to check the design. Yes. No, there is no way you can say you are differentiating between low fidelity and wireframe. No, it's either low fidelity wireframe or low fidelity prototype. It's either high fidelity wireframe or high fidelity prototype. Now, what we were talking about first was that we wanted to design Lita's finance app, Litafa, and then I decided to pick some applications that would help us. So some of my competitors are OPay, MoneyPoint, PiggyVest. OPay, MoneyPoint, PiggyVest. So I have gone through the pain of even carrying out the research. All right. So I've gone through the pain of, looking for their screens, their different screens and how they work. And then if you look at this is UI land, I think, yeah. So this is OPay. Now this is the splash screen you are seeing here. This is the first screen of encounter. When you open OPay, this is not even the first screen of encounter. This is not their splash screen. I remember their splash screen is just the OPay before we now have something like this. If I'm right, you can try opening OPay again and let's see it. So maybe this is not the splash screen. Maybe this is their logo screen. Yeah. So you have your splash screen. If you have more than one logo screen to show us, you can, of course, create your logo screen as well. So now this is the second screen of encounter. This is their onboarding section. And from what I'm seeing here, they have 5 onboarding sections. So you have one to tell you about OPay and what they do. You have 2, free debit card. You have 3, 4, 5. You can just go through, check the application and see everything. You can see the sign-in process. This is the sign-in process. This is when you've gotten the application. They are showing you different things on the application. They are showing you what the application can do, the different stages, and what the application can do. They are telling you to follow these 3 steps to get new customer bonus, and then they are showing you your profile page, your edit account, your account details, and so on and so forth. Your nickname, your profile picture, to change your profile picture, and so on. You can see everything. Everything is here. You can keep going to the different screens you can keep going through the different screens, checking them out and seeing how they work. This is their verification screen. This is their account screen. They have tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and so on and so forth. You can see that. I mean, you can get your inspiration from here. So when you are done checking the website, probably let's deal with onboarding. So we are dealing with onboarding. So let me go back to page 1. All right, so this is me back in page 1. I'm dealing with onboarding, and I've seen their first logo screen. I've seen their onboarding. This is their onboarding. I think I like this, but I'm looking for something else. I don't just want to copy or paste. So let me look at money points. So this is money points. I've searched for it as well. And then this is money points screen. I like this. I like this circle on the second screen of money points. I love how simple money point looks like. It just tells you business banking, money point. I like the circle there. I think I'm going to get that circle. And then I like the way money points just did this differentiation in their button, where this is an image, they have a content here that says grow your business, blah blah blah. And then if I'm drawing on my paper right now, I would draw this. Hold on, let's go back to OPE. I would draw this OPE, and we are beyond banking. I'll just draw the OPE logo, just draw a circle, put logo there, and then I'll just put a line here to say that I'm going to put the content here. Then I'll leave that place. Then I'll come to money points, maybe because I like this circle loading thing going on here. I'll just put that there, and then I'm done with that first screen. So maybe for my onboarding screen now, I would be taking more insights from money points, because I like this part of their screen and this other sign up login button. The way they did that login button, I really love it. So I can decide to draw my sign up and login button, just draw it, then put my different screens, this carousel circles, just draw it there. And then after that, I also like the way the carousel button is going smaller and bigger. I like that. So I can decide to pick all of that. Then let me go to Piggyvest and see if I can take something from there. Look at how simple Piggyvest's splash screen looks like, yes. And then look at this onboarding screen for Piggyvest. But you see that Piggyvest is different in that it has login on the left and register on the right. So you can also decide to pick something from Piggyvest if you like that particular one. But since I've already picked how my buttons will look like, I'll just stick to the money points kind of button. Yeah. So this is me telling you how I'm getting my inspiration. So from there now, let me see if I can quickly see what I have drawn up here. I used my pencil to draw this. Now this is my logo, and this is that loading button. Yeah. So today we will not draw anything on Lo-Fi. We are only sketching. And because I cannot do it on paper, if not, you will not see me. I decided to do something like this so that you would see what I'm saying. So with pencil, it was pencil I used generally here. Now what I did was I just created a rectangle line. I don't think this line is needed. So just put a line here, onboarding text, and then my loading, my carousel circles. Then see the divider, and then this is my button to show my get started, and then my button to show my login. Now let's say that I want to create another screen. So for you guys to see the same thing I've been able to do here, to see it live, let's try creating another screen. So how do I get my frame? I'm sure they've taught us. So you can either click on F, or you can come to the lower part of your screen where you can see this hashtag, click on the frame, and then you can choose your phone frame. I like to use a small phone frame to design my work, so that when my developers are working, we don't really have issues on spacing and sizing. So that's why I go with something small. Normally, it's not always iPhone 8. I start with maybe iPhone. Let me see the iPhones that are available. So click on F, and then so I can start with iPhone 13 mini, and then I can use that to design my work. But then let's use iPhone 8 to design. So let's go. I want to design. I'm done with my onboarding. So I can, of course, I can always change this. So I'm changing this to my onboarding screen. Now, what am I designing next after my onboarding screen? I think I'm designing the sign up process, but I'm seeing that this is OPE's sign in process. Well, as much as I like this, I want to also check money points to see how they are going to sign in. This is for create accounts. Okay, that's nice. But I'm looking for sign in. I'm looking for sign in. Okay, so let's go to page 2. I'm really hoping I see sign in. So all of this is still for signing up. All of this is still for signing up. Business details and so on and so forth. Okay. Wow, this is a lot for signing up. All right, so this is their sign-in. Okay. So they have a logo, and then they have like welcome back so and so. Then they have the name. Okay, forgot username or password. Okay, I like this. If you are new to Money Point, sign up. I like this, but then let me also look at Piggyvest and let me see how they want to log in. Oh, I hope I've not passed it. Let's see what they have. Okay, go to the next. Autosave. I'm not seeing their login. I hope I've not even passed it. That's my fear. But I know I use I think they should have a login. Just need to find that. Create a new number. No, I don't need all these ones. Let me try going back to the beginning. Let me see if I've not passed it. This is create an account. Verify. Except maybe it's part of the ones they've blocked. I wouldn't know. But I'm thinking it's part of the ones they've blocked, which is why I can't see that. So that means I'm left with 2 options, Money Points and OPay. And I think we can take something from OPay and we can take something from Money Points. What I like in OPay is the fingerprint, login with fingerprint, very, very seamless. And I like the chat with OPay support. Then I like the way MoneyPoint created their own, welcome back and all. It's very, very simple and seamless. So I want to see how I'm going to merge everything together. So let's go to our design. I can copy this design, copy this. Okay, I can't copy it. So I thought I could copy that and then I will just, paste it in my design. But since I can't copy it, I can check this and then sketch my design. So first I want to do is I want to get my pencil. Yes, I have my pencil now. For me, I want to put my logo at the center of my design. I don't want it to be at the right hand side. I want mine to be at the center. And then I want a welcome back, something, something, something. So that would just be like a line. So I can put a line here for my welcome back. Just put a line here. Or if I don't want to put a line, I can just do something like this to just show that, there's a write-up there. So let's say it doesn't look like a good write-up. So let's just put a line. So welcome back so and so person. Yes, that's good there. And then what do we have next? I'm coming. And then we now have like a box. Yes, like another rectangle. Okay. But instead of putting that rectangle there, why not just let me continue with the OPay format, where we just put like the username, the username and then the email and password. So let's use email, password. So let's continue. So from here, maybe I'll just put like a dividing line that divides everything, and then we now say username or email. So this just covers username or email. I'll just put something here to show that there will be an icon there. Then hold on, this is me now. I don't know if I've told you guys before that I love to duplicate my work. So I've just duplicated this by clicking on Control D, and then I have username and password. Don't worry, you may be feeling confused now, but as time goes on, you discover that it's very, very simple. Now I'm going back to my pencil. I'm creating my divider here. Sorry, that was a mistake. So I'm creating my divider here. Good. And after creating my divider, I'm now coming in with the idea from OPE. So the idea from OPE is to create a sign-in button. No, I'm not doing that yet. Sorry, let me check this. So I have forgot password, forgot username or password. All right, that's great. So sorry, give me a minute. Drop this, bring this down. Yes, and then get my pencil again to create the link for forgot password. So that's just going to be here. So this would show my forgot password. I'm even thinking of putting my own idea now. So there's going to be a checkbox here for keep me signed in. Yes, keep me signed in is going to be here. And then after that, I'm going to OPE to now say login with fingerprint, and then I'll put the fingerprint thing there. So for this one, we now have login with fingerprint, and then we now put the fingerprint there. If you laugh at my work, I will stone you. So this is fingerprint. Now, if you don't want to create if you don't want to log in, you can sign up. Maybe that's going to be down here. Now, with what I've designed so far, nobody will really understand what I've done here. Like nobody will really understand it. So I'm the one that would have to explain to you what each segment means, which is why I'm now drawing my annotating lines for my explanation. I'm drawing all the annotating lines for my explanation. I'm going to give you another story that would help us explain why you have to do these annotations. So one of these days I was designing, and then while I was designing, I just felt fatigued. I was doing a low fidelity design and I felt fatigued. So I want to get my text, this is it here. So I felt so fatigued and I felt like, oh, let me just not annotate. Let me go and sleep. Then when I come back, I will start my annotation. So I went to sleep, and in fact, I went to eat, and then I came back to try to annotate. And by the grace of God, I forgot what some of the things I was thinking of at the time I was designing. I forgot what they were supposed to be for. So welcome back. This is a welcome back. And because I forgot it, I couldn't go on with the design. I had to change the design that I started with. You understand? Because I forgot what I wanted to put there. So that's to tell you that you really need to, I'm using Control D to duplicate. So this is for email, this is for password. That even reminds me, get my pencil again, put this thing for the eyes. So this just shows that there's going to be an eye kind of thing there. And then this is for, duplicate this again, drag down, and then say forgot password. I'm hoping that we are following me. Duplicate this again, bring it here, and say remember me, or keep me signed in. Remember me in the Lord's kingdom. And then duplicate this again, bring it here, say something like login with fingerprint. Just write fingerprint instead. Fingerprint. And then this is the fingerprint icon. Fingerprint icon. Then this is sign in if you have not logged in, or sign up, or create an account link. So you see that with this now, anybody that sees what you've done here would be able to tell. They'll be able to tell that, I understand what this girl, or I understand what this lady is trying to dish out to me from just looking at this design. I am hoping that that's the same thing for us. This is how to just sketch. This is just sketching. By Wednesday, we will be talking about, by Wednesday. Hey, thank you so much. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Now, thank you for that correction. I'm going to be dragging this down, or I'm going to be making these guys smaller so that I can drag. So just reduce this, drag it down. This is your sketch. This is just your sketch. Now, see me. Now this is the fingerprint. I'm also going to drag. That's because I want to put my login button. So someone just asked me, said, where is your login button? And I couldn't find my login button. So let me put my login button here. All right. Thank you so much for that. So I'll get my button, which would just be, get my pen again. My pen, or my pencil, as the case may be, draw my button. Now this is my button, and then I can just put a line. Let me see if I can type. So let me bring in a text. I didn't want to do this, but then button, but my writing is not fine when I'm doing this stuff, so manage me. Yes, so this is standing in as your button. You can use your hand to write button if you are, drawing on paper. And then I'm duplicating this. I think I've duplicated it. Yes. So this is coming down here. Duplicating remember me, and then I'm putting login button. Thank you so much for that. You guys are amazing. So just create like a space so that people can see the difference. And now, yes, I think we are good to go. Let me see if you guys have another correction. Because, you guys are amazing already. Yes, so that's what's happening at the last part, where we have create an account link. So if you don't have an account, sign up. That's the last line. So this is sketch. You can keep doing this. You can keep writing. You can keep, drawing, and so on and so forth. Right here, you can keep drawing like this. Keep drawing. You can find something else. You can put something else there. Just keeps making sense. So do we have any question from this? Let me check. I know we have. I know I would have seen a lot of questions. No, this is Figma. I'm using Figma right now. This is Figma I'm using here. This is not a different website. This is Figma. How did I collate the screenshots of the apps? Or was it from a website that gives access to screenshots? Okay, so let me, from the place where I was gathering those screenshots, that's an application. That's not Figma. That is UI Land. So you can always check UI Land. You can check Mobbing for different designs, for different design inspiration. Yeah. Will developers also be able to develop in low and high fidelity? No, developers will be able to develop in high fidelity. The low fidelity does not concern the developer at all. Although for your low fidelity, you can have a meeting where the developers will check out the low fidelity for their own functionality's sake, so that if they are having like any problem, or if they think that some of your design thoughts will not work, then they can just tell you. For example, I remember when when we were designing something. We're designing for for a company, and then we were designing the way we have YouTube videos. So we're designing the video to do landscape and or to just stay, on the vertical way or to go landscape. But the developer could not achieve the landscape part of the video. So we had already designed that in lo-fi. He just told us, he said, this is not achievable, so remove it. I cannot do it. If you ask me to do it, we'll just be wasting time doing this. So what we did as the designers, we just scrapped that out of it. You understand? So that's that. So it's not compulsory that the developers see that particular low fidelity, although you can put it in the meeting so that they will be in the know of what you are designing. Okay, so how do you create prototypes? When we get to the prototype place, we will learn that. Don't worry, don't jump. What site am I using to get the inspiration? I've given that when I was teaching. I gave about 10 places where you could get inspiration. Yeah, and what's the carousel? If you have been on Instagram and you have seen some kind of things that will tell you 8 ways to prosper in life, slide to the next. When you slide, you see another picture that tells you number 1 way to prosper. When you slide, you see another one that tells you number 2 way to prosper. That is a carousel. That is a carousel. So okay, thank you, gifts. Thank you, gifts. I also didn't know that time had gone this much. The moment I get on Figma, I am gone. If I am on Figma, I am totally lost. So I hope we've learned something from what we've seen so far. Okay, I'm seeing something. You said if you accept it, no, you can delete something on Figma. Oh, you can actually delete something on Figma. So if you just want to delete, click on that thing you want to delete and delete your delete button on your system. So let me say I want to delete. Let me say I want to delete this my terrible fingerprint. What I'll just do is I've selected the fingerprint, right? Now delete. It has gone. Let's say I want to delete this fingerprint circle that looks like the head of Esther. Just click on it and, oh no, I clicked on enter and then delete. It has gone. Now, if you want to bring it back, because we have mistakes where we do something and then, we've forgotten or we need to bring those things back, just do a Control Z and it's back. Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, and then you have it back. So you can undo, you can redo, you can delete. I hope that answers your question. All right. Okay. Yes, of course. That's why designers and developers fight, because sometimes what you design, the developer cannot develop it. So he tells you no. He asks you why you designed it like this, and then you are now giving him your reason. But some of those things may not be achievable. So there is a problem. There's a problem. I'm hoping I'm able to get everybody's question. It says, what's the essence of the divider I used? If you followed me through when I was looking for inspiration, you would see how Money Points worked on their design. Now, from Money Points inspiration, that was why I was able to divide that screen like that. You understand? So that when I'm doing my low fidelity now, I'm able to create that box-like thing in the design. That's why. Please don't use dribble to look for inspiration. Please, I've said it earlier. But if you think you want to use dribble, that's up to you. When you and your developer starts fighting, don't call my name. Okay. If you are not a computer literate, I would advise you go learn about computers, or you go learn about, I think it's pretty easy to use a computer these days. Just try to put your hands on a whole lot of things. Okay, so how do you copy and paste without using keyboard shortcuts? All right, that's a beautiful question there. So let's say I want to create an account. So I've selected create an account, and then I can just right click. So I right click and I see copy. See copy here. This is copy. Click out of there and then right click and say paste here. And then it is pasted there. Can you see that? I mean, that's a simple way to copy and paste without using your keyboard shortcuts. What else? What else? What else? What else? All right. Okay. Okay. Oh, some people have even given you answers. Okay. So I think that answers our question, and that brings us to the end of our class. Now, I was thinking of giving us an assignment. I was thinking of giving us an assignment, but instead of an assignment, I want us to play around sketching. I want you to play around sketching. We are still working on Litafa, so throughout this week, we'll probably be using Litafa for an example. So play around different finance application. Try to sketch out how you want the login screen to go, the sign up screen to go, the home page of your Litafa finance app, your Lita's finance app. That's Litafa. So the home page, most especially, how you want the home page of Litafa to look like. That's the idea, and it's not an assignment. You're not going to submit it so that you're not under pressure, but just design something, sketch it out. That's the word, sketch it out. Put it on paper. You can share it. Oh, I don't know if we can share on Telegram, but if you cannot share on Telegram, you can put it on your status. Let people see what you are doing. Just sketch it out. Yes, I know the sketches come out ugly, but you are sketching it out for record purposes, such that by Wednesday, when we are creating the low fidelity, you begin to see the beauty of that thing that looked rough at the start. That thing that looked rough, that looked, in my own word, yama yama, that looked, not so fine. By the time you are creating the low fidelity, the beauty begins to come out. And then by the time you are creating the high fidelity, we'll just call you guys exceptional global product designers. So that would be all for today. I'm still seeing some questions. If you are talking about assignments, you have to meet the community manager. I'm not the community manager. Meet the community manager. Okay, so what else? Select that thing you want to, Gloria, select what you want to design, whether in the frame or not. Select that thing you want to delete. Select that thing you want to delete and delete it. Just click on delete it. Okay. Praise Blessing, meet your community manager to answer that question. I'm not sure I have an answer to that question. All right, this brings us to the end. How can we add grid pattern? Okay. Okay, sorry. If you want to add grid pattern to your frame, click on your frame. Come to, oh, wow, they've changed this. Okay, let me check. Okay, I've seen what I'm looking for. Sorry. So click on your frame and then scroll up. Can you see layout grid just at the, yes, let me try to, yes, that place where my arrow is, showing layout grid. Just click on that and then you can work on the layout grid. So change from grid to columns, and then you can change from 5 to 4. You can leave it as stretched. You can give it a margin of 20 or 24, and other things can work out like that. And please, if you abuse me that I did not follow my grid, I'm going to come for you. So thank you very much, everyone, and have a lovely night rest. Bye.